Hello and welcome to another episode of the Contractor Growth Show. This is Mark, and today I have the pleasure of bringing on to the show Amy Feller from Roofer Chicks. I'm really excited about her story. We've never met before, but I really already have a lot of trust for what she has to say and her business. And that's a piece I'd like to unpack here later, but simply because the website is set up so well. She has a big footprint and has just got a great business that I'm really excited to learn about. It's kind of a niche business. It's got a curious story. So, Amy, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thanks for having me. I'm really excited about it. It's funny you talk about the website because I just stood that website up about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I'm actually trying to rewrite a lot of the content.
Oh,
But
is that right? Okay.
yeah,
So, Amy is from Roofer Chicks in New Braunfels, Texas, which is between San Antonio and Austin. Amy, maybe you could tell us a little bit about the business and kind of the current state that it's in now and what you guys are up to kind of like right now in New Braunfels.
okay, for sure. So we are primarily a residential roofing contractor, although we do a little bit of commercial. We're probably 90-10. We don't do any work for general contractors. I've tried that in the past and it didn't go well, so I just pulled back from that. So if we do commercial, it's usually like a single owner business, like a restaurant or a church or something like that. And currently I seem to have plateaued at about 5.2 million for the last 4 years. And like I said, we are a roofing contractor. We primarily do roofing. I've tried my hand in trying to get into windows and handyman services. And earlier this year, I dropped all of that again and just decided to simplify again and just do roofing. And within roofing, we don't do new construction because we don't find there's very good margins in it, and different roofers do different things. And so primarily we are a re-roofer, which means we tear off old roofs and put on new roofs. And we also do a lot of repairs. And then when you within the re-roof, you've got insurance and you've got retail. So we
Okay.
do it, and it depends on the year and the storms, but we're kind of 50-50 between insurance and retail.
Okay. Great. And I mean, you have, I think, a couple of degrees. You,
Many.
yeah, many.
I'm an
And
overeducated roofer.
and then I've worked at a number of different companies, number of larger companies,
Yeah.
and then um, I think maybe 15 years ago or so, your brother and yourself started a
Yes.
company together. Is that correct? Feller
Yeah.
Construction,
So
Feller Builders.
um, my brother and I both attended Iowa State University at the same time. He's 5 years older than me. And when I was at Iowa State, I ended up getting a degree in German. Kind of useless, except I live in New Braunfels, and so it is a German community. And then I also ended up with a degree in business with a focus on transportation logistics. And I did that because the math was easier than engineering, and I didn't really see myself as opening my own business. It was just easy.
Uh huh.
Uh, but in hindsight, I'm really glad that I did that because I fall back on that quite a bit. And then I also have my MBA in business that I did online through the University of Phoenix. But when we were at Iowa State, my big brother decided he was a construction engineering major, and his buddy told him he should start a roofing company. And so he did. And we grew up like being handy, and my parents renovated houses and stuff. But he learned how to do it, and I went to work with him. And yeah, we did that for a couple of years, never thinking it would be a career. It was just a great way to make money and get tan and have a good time. And then we both went and got real jobs, and neither one of us were real happy with that. And so in 2000, I was 25 years old. He called me. I was working for Caterpillar in Illinois, and he called and asked if I wanted to move to Texas and start a construction company. And I was so unhappy and like, okay. And so we moved to Texas, and we had a really rough go. I ended up doing that with him for about 2 years, and we were so broke. And anyway, I ended up going back to corporate America. So I do have a lot of corporate America in my story: Caterpillar, Walmart, Coca-Cola, DHL, and Airborne Express. And
Mm.
then in 2012, my daughter, I was a single mom, and she was 4 years old, and I was working 12-hour days, and my boss was awful, and I was commuting an hour each way, and just hating life. And I called my brother and said, there's got to be more to life than this. And he talked me into coming back into roofing, which I was hesitant to do because it had been so awful. before.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, so that in 2012, he and his new wife and me, we started a roofing company from scratch. And we did that together for 4 years, and then we got sideways. And I split
Hmm.
off from him in 2016.
Okay, great. And
So
so
that's the short version.
great. I love it. And then rebranded because you guys were Feller Roofing and you rebranded to Roofer Chicks at that time.
In 2021. So in 2016,
Okay.
it wasn't a pretty scene when this happened. And I basically had 10 days to get my stuff and get out. And so I
Okay.
had 10 days to file the LLC with the Secretary of State, get commercial insurance, get supplier accounts established, all this. And we kind of thought that if I kept the name Feller Roofing, because we were Feller Roofing and Remodeling. So if I became Feller Roofing of New Braunfels, people wouldn't think that we were arguing because we didn't want to scare our customers, even though we were. so, and I didn't really have time to think about the name either. It just like it was hit the ground and run. So Feller Roofing of New Braunfels it is, and on to the next thing. And then, yeah, I got down the road and I had always had roofer chick in the back window of my truck. My brother did that for me kind of as a joke early on. And so in this town, I was known as the roofer chick. And I started getting excited about trying to get other women to go into roofing. And start in 2020, I started trying to put together a female labor crew. And so it just made sense if I ever wanted to sell the company to get my name off of it. And if I ever wanted to franchise or anything like that, and every roofing company out there, if you've ever noticed, it's always somebody's first name, their last name, roofing, and then they put a little house.
Right.
They put a little house over the top, and then that's their logo.
The same little logo on all of them with the same house and the logo.
Yes, it's all the same. And
Yeah.
I just wanted to do something different. So I was going to make it just roofer chick because that's me, singular, but then my employees felt like that left them out. And they wanted it to be
Right.
plural. And I'm like, you sure? Because I mean, we got guys here, and they're like, yeah, we're sure. We want to be part of it. It's us too. So yeah, so that's where it came from.
I love it. Amazing. So, I mean, taking a look here, you're known around town and on YouTube as the Roofer Chick. In October 2020, Amy started an entirely female roofing crew.
Yeah.
Actively working to change the stigma of women in the trades. And then in October 2021, started doing business as Roofer Chicks. Aside from roofing, Amy's an active member in Rotary International, New Braunfels Chamber of Commerce, the Women's Business Alliance, National Association of Women Business Owner. So, as well as your church, and you're also on the board for Habitat for Humanity. So, I mean, how has branding into a women-owned business, you really went all in there, right? With saying, we're the Roofer Chicks, right? And just kind of saying, this is what we're doing over here. I love to see that. And I love to see folks niching into something that is like, this is what we're doing. It's different than what's just out in the marketplace. We put some attention into this and we're kind of making a stand here and saying, this is what we're about. How has rebranding into, women's business, women-owned business, how has that helped you guys set yourself apart and ultimately to land more business?
Well, there's so many roofers in Texas. There's no licensing required in our state. And so anybody with a truck can say they're a roofer. And there's just so much competition. So the hot pink and the Lucy is the name of our logo, the girl.
Okay.
It really does help us stand out. Our trucks are wrapped. We have 13 trucks on the road, and they're wrapped, and they're really bright and obnoxious. And little girls especially love them. People are always wanting to take pictures of the truck. And so we're real well known. We were also on Good Morning America in 2023 in May. And so that caused a big hubbub in town, and people know who we are. It's not been easy. Females in roofing are 5% industry wide is female of the industry. And when you get into the laborers, it's only 0.5% are female. So,
wow, okay.
Yeah, it's really lopsided. And so I've tried to encourage women to come on. My goal, my dream was to at least have one crew of 6. A roofing crew is usually 6. At least have that. And so far I have not been able to get there. We've had a lot of turnover. Roofing is a hard business, whether you're male or female. It's hard, and not everybody can hack it. Um,
Uh-huh.
so, but right now I have three, and they've been with me for quite a while, and they're pretty great. And we just had a brainstorming session this week of how we can attract more women to at least come give it a try. It's hard because we talk them into it, and then their husband or their dad or their brother says, "You're crazy, you can't do that," and they talk them out of it before they even show up to try, and that's frustrating. And then we also have people try who probably have no business, and some people we've gotten up there and they can't get over the fear of heights, and that won't work either. So it's been a
Right.
challenge. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
it's had a lot of ups and downs. But we're still going, and we're still going to do it. I feel real good about the base I have right now. As far as being roofer chicks, like in the community, sometimes I get flack. And I guess somebody once told me that all PR is good PR. So maybe it doesn't matter. But they're like, well, I see guys driving the trucks and I see guys up on the roof. Well, yeah, I mean, like we have
Yeah,
to, we
right.
still have a business to run, and 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 we would never be 100% female ever, because that would be illegal, I'm pretty sure. And
Right.
yeah, and like we're just trying to get more women in, and so sometimes I'm like, well, should I have called it Roofer Chicks? But anyway, it works, and even if you're getting flack about it, it means that people are talking about it.
Right, right. These guys probably have in mind, they're like they want to be like the barista babes or whatever, like you guys to be up there in bikinis and
We
with
get
the little
asked
pink
that too.
hammer.
Yes, we get
Right.
asked
Can
that
you
too,
guys
and the girls are like, "Oh my god,
Yeah, right.
we're not doing that."
Right. That's not exactly what we meant by roofer chicks.
Well, and
Awesome.
I'm sure that even Hooters has male employees.
Right, right.
They they have to. There's no way. No.
Hilarious. So you're also really involved in your community. So you're on the board of Habitat for Humanity, local historic theater, active member of the Rotary International. How is being um, active in the community? How does that work to help you build the business as well? I mean, it seems like you're just kind of all over the place in a really great way. I mean, you've got a really active YouTube channel, but specifically their new Braunfels. I mean, it sounds like you
Yeah.
guys are really well known. How has that helped to build the business and to keep a relationship with your clients and customers?
I think it's key, and I think it's probably one of the most important things that I do is being out in the community and being part of these groups and doing service in the community and just being seen and known, because it's for sure. I don't know if every business is like this. It has to be, but the more people that I know and the more people that I touch, the more likely that business comes my way. It's just how it works out, and
Uh-huh.
they get to know your true, authentic self. I have struggled with being on too many things, and at some point you still have to run the business. Like
Right.
I do all our scheduling, and I'm a hands-on owner. It's I don't just walk away, and so there have to be enough hours in the day. And a few years ago I decided just to really pick a couple and focus. At the end, I talked to somebody that I respect that's older than me, and like, how do I do all this? And he said, you need to pick like one industry organization to be a part of, one volunteer organization, and just pick three things, basically, is what he said. And I don't
Hmm.
know that I'm down to three things, but I've really focused on Rotary. I love Rotary. It's one of my favorite things.
Hmm.
And Chamber of Commerce, I'm what they call a blue coat, which is basically a volunteer ambassador for the chamber. And so
Okay.
I go to all the ribbon cuttings and try and get new members and get people to join, and that.
Huh.
So those two take up a lot of time. The Habitat for Humanity, it's a board, and normally it's only a couple hours a month. We have a board meeting, and then sometimes an event, or like right now we're calling all our donors and thanking them for Thanksgiving. But it's really not a time suck too bad. So
Okay.
and then some of those other organizations that you mentioned, I'm still a part of, but I took a step back.
Okay. Okay. Great. And then I noticed sort of, I mean, we help companies with, web stuff and build websites and promote. And, we're always looking at websites and do they have the right conversion elements on them? And it's surprising how many companies, even companies that are doing a lot of business, just really haven't put any time into that. I mean, I noticed that you guys have got an exceptional site. It's really got all the right pieces. I mean, technically, looking at it from a technical eye, it's really great. I mean, the phone number, the call to action, the top right, it's got really clean brand colors that are clearly across not only the website, but I mean, your trucks and things. You've got that great pink color, really kind of lift up this female kind of brand. I noticed on your website that there's a video of what happens when somebody contacts,
Yes.
gets in touch with Roofer Chicks, right? And it's this fun, like
Yeah.
sort of animated video, of like you flying across town and landing. The idea that the idea being that you guys take it really seriously when somebody gets in touch with you guys, and I assume you've got people in place that are answering the phones. I mean, how do you handle inbound, and how do you provide that level of care where you're really responding to anyone who gets in touch with you guys?
So I have one office employee, and that is her sole job. And not all roofing companies are set up that way. A lot of roofing companies, they collect leads and then they give the leads directly to their salespeople and ask their salespeople to follow up with the customer. And a lot of things get dropped that way. So we have a designated person who her job is to get their information, get it all into our CRM, assign, she picks a salesperson kind of depending on the customer's personality and needs, and the salesperson, she tries to match people up that are going to be a good fit. And then she actually sets the initial appointment. So we don't miss those appointments. And then also, of course, then she's always checking, the Facebook inbox. That we have an info. I try and send everything to that info as much as I can, so that she keeps that inbox clear. And yeah, that's her job. And that video is pretty funny. That's what landed us on Good Morning America, because they found our website and they filled out the web form to contact us, and they got that back, and they're like, "Oh," so it served us
Oh, that's
well.
fantastic. Yeah, everybody go to rooferchicks.com. Take a look at the video. It's about halfway down. It just says, what happens when somebody gets in touch with us at the office. Super fun. Fantastic. And then, I mean, you guys have got a ton of Google reviews, over, 300 and 350 or
Yeah.
so, at 4.9 stars. What's your secret for collecting reviews? I mean, I know that you guys inevitably you guys do an amazing job in the community. I mean, how have you built up such a kind of reputation, especially in the reviews? Do you guys ask people after you finish jobs, would you go over and rate us if we've done a good job? How does that workflow happen?
That's been my pet project this year. So in February of this year, a guy left us a 3-star review, and he said, "You guys did such a great job on my roof. The roof is beautiful, but when it was done, you'd think you'd at least send me a picture." And it made me mad. I was like,
no.
why didn't you just call and ask me for one? Why'd you have to go leave a 3-star review over the fact that I didn't? But instead of getting mad, I believe firmly, strongly, that every time you get criticism from somebody, there's truth in it, and you need to find what the truth is and get over your emotions. And the truth was, he's right. If he spent $25,000 for a roof, we should have at least sent him one picture of it. So from that point, from there, I built an automation. It's not completely automated because I do send it, but I used AI, ChatGPT, to make a real cute thing about, here's your final pictures. Thank you for choosing us for your project. It would mean the world to us if you would give us a review. And then I actually put in that email three links, one for Google, one for the BBB. I have a lot of BBB reviews now because I did that. I had Yelp, but I had to take it out because Yelp somehow is magical and they can tell when you ask people for reviews. I don't know how they do it, but they delete them. And there was no point in collecting a Yelp review. I think Facebook is my third link. So anyway, so I send that out with their pictures, and I think there's an exchange there. Like, they get these pictures and it makes them happy. And so that puts them in a good mind frame to give me a review. I also set up a text asking for the same thing, because some people respond more to text. And then I use a review company. I put them on pause right now, but called erase.com. And they're supposed to help you get rid of the bad reviews, and that hasn't been real effective. But I send them a list. I send it 2 months back so I can make sure that everything's resolved and done. I eliminate the ones where they already did give me a review, so I'm not asking them again. And then they're real successful at getting reviews. And so I think this year I've gotten about 125 reviews since that 3-star review back in February.
Amazing. Okay, so if you're here listening to this episode, take a moment and listen to what we just heard. So Amy's an amazing business owner. She's doing $5 million in business. She's got a great brand, got a great website. It's rocket science approved. I've taken a look at it all, and it's fantastic. Great business. Okay, and what she did was that she decided we're going to build kind of a review collection system, and she, all completely above board, but put in some automations in place so that emails and text messages are going out. There's an exchange there, so you're sending out a photo and saying, "Look, we finished the project. Here it is. You took some feedback from someone that wasn't happy." Started sending photos to them, and sure enough, you've, I don't know, sort of, raised your review count by 50 or 60% in the less
Yeah.
than 1 year alone.
Yes. I get 20 or 25 reviews a month right now.
That is amazing. Yeah, and I mean they're all you're at 4.9 stars, over 350 reviews, guys. So if you're struggling to figure out how to create more reviews, prototype this thing that Amy is talking about, because I mean this is really, really powerful. And for ranking locally, in your local area, like Amy is trying to do, those local reviews, continuous reviews from customers is one of the key indicators that it's going to help you rank. Yeah, fantastic. Okay, and then Amy, I mean, one thing that occurs to me is that you've got 16 people on your team. We talked about, you're doing $5 million or so in revenue, 5 million plus. That's a lot of revenue for that amount of team.
Yeah. So they're subcontractors. That's not in the head count.
Okay, so you have some subcontractors as well.
So
okay.
Subcontractor labor. So right now I have 5 salespeople. One's in training. I just started them like a month ago. So I have 5 salespeople. I've got 4 people on my in-house crew. They're W-2 labor, which most roofing companies in Texas at least don't use in-house labor. But I find that's the only way I can train women how to do this job, because I can't, my subcontractor doesn't want a woman on the crew that doesn't know what she's doing. They actually do have women on their crews though. I'm super impressed. Like there's women out there on my crews too, which is awesome. And then I have 4 office employees, and right now I have 2 field support. So a project manager that goes around to all the jobs and keeps my quality in check, and a material runner who just, go get this, go get that, put yard signs, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So subcontractor, those crews are their own LLC, and I pay the LLC. But I probably keep, and this is our slow season right now, but when we're busy, there's probably 30 to 50 people. They're subcontractors out there too.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. And 5 salespeople.
And there's different kinds of roofing, right? So I have shingle crews. I have 2 or 3 shingle crews I use. I have 1 metal crew. I have 1 tile crew. I have 1 flat roof crew, and I don't necessarily keep them all busy. The shingle guys I do, but I don't keep everybody else busy 100% of the time.
Okay. Fantastic. Great. And then let's see. Regarding how you've grown the business, I mean, you have got a lot of word of mouth that's happening and just a great kind of footprint out in the marketplace. Do you do any kind of paid advertising, or do you do some work to rank the website, different things like that?
Yes. So 70% of my leads are either repeat or referral, which is awesome. And personally, I'm frustrated because I would really like to get my business to the 6 to 10 million, and I seem to have plateaued at 5. But this year wasn't a great roofing year in my market, and that I stayed the same as last year actually is really good, even though I'm frustrated. It's actually, there's a lot of people that went out of business this year, and there's a lot of people that didn't have a good year. So,
no kidding. Okay.
I need to keep that in mind. And it really just depends on God and storms on how all that goes. But as far as paid marketing, my truck wraps have been super successful. And a wrap is usually $2,500 to $3,500. I try to buy trucks that are already in the color scheme, like black, gray, white, red. So I only have to wrap half of it, so I don't have to pay for a full wrap, because I save money there. But wraps have been great. Yard signs are really great. We get a lot off of yard signs, and they're not really that expensive. I do have a billboard, and I move the billboard every couple of years. And what's funny, when you move a billboard, people still think they think it's a new one. So people think I have like 10 billboards, and I don't. I have one right now. So it's funny how the human mind works. I do pay my website company quite a bit. I do, man, last year I keep trying new things. I'm trying to find things that work. I tried radio last year. I didn't feel like it was very successful, and maybe because it wasn't a good year for roofing, but it was very expensive, and I didn't really feel like I got my bang for my buck. My social media team, I just put them on pause, and I'm going to do it myself for a little bit. But because that's like $26,000 a year and paying them $500 a week, and they're really fun and they're really good at it. But I don't see the conversion. There's such a difference between branding and lead generation. It's and a lot, I think, as a roofing company, a lot of what you're doing is branding, so that when somebody needs a roof, you're top of mind. It's not like, yeah. Anyway, so I do not do any lead generation companies. So no Home Advisor, no Angie's List. I probably get 5 emails a day. Could you handle 20 to 25 more roofing jobs? No. So none of that, because then they just pit you against 3 other contractors, and then you're just competing on price, and I'm not cheap. So there's no point in me getting into a price game. I'm going to lose, and there's no point in paying for the lead. I was putting a lot of money in Google Ads, a lot, like $5,000 to $7,000 a month. I find that they don't really convert. What does work well on Google is the Google Guarantee. I do real well with those, and I do real well with the map. But not and I guess Google Guarantee is also called LSA, local service ad. Yeah. And the GMB, Google Map, My Business, right? So I do well with those, but not so much the paid ads. I've got a company called it's called Predictive Sales AI. I tried last year, and what they do is when there's a storm, you can target an area with Facebook and run an ad, and only, target, if I want to target females, but target household owners over so much, and they can really narrow it down, and that's been really great, actually. And it's only $5 a month. And they also put the chat box on my website, and there's a weather report on my website, which is really cool. You can type any address in that you want and get a free weather report for your house, so you can see all the storms. And people, from all over the country use it. Obviously, I'm not going to do their roof, but it's a pretty cool thing.
Okay.
There's also a thing on my website you can click on that gives you a free estimate. You can type in your address. It's in the top right, and I need to get a landing page for that. But I'm working on the landing page for that. But you can type in your address, and you can get a free. It's pretty close estimate how much it would cost to re-roof your house, and you can pick different materials and colors and stuff, and that's pretty cool. So yeah, lots of different things. And for this winter, I pretty much shut everything down because it eats me alive when it's not busy financially. And I'll wait till February, and then I'll ramp it up again and try something else. I do want to next year. I'd like to find small offices in San Antonio and South Austin, like real physical offices, so I can drop a pin.
Get a new GBP location in those areas too, the map location.
Yeah, that's what my web guy recommends, because I do real well on Google, and I think that's where a lot of my business comes from. Aside from referrals and repeats, the next thing is Google. So if I can get a stronger presence there, I think I'll do well.
Okay. Interesting. So, some things I'm taking away from this, regarding growth, you've got this part figured out. I mean, you'd like to grow more, but you're a nice sizable company at this point. Amy's trying everything, right? She's, and what I'm saying by that is like, she's not afraid to go and to try radio, to try billboards, to try, all of the different ways of building the business and trying and see what works. And it sounds like you're also open to trying new things in the future as they come about. Maybe it's some different platforms that open up or whatever, but you really get the idea that spending money on marketing is something that is ultimately brings in the business, and so you guys are spending a fair amount of money on that, and that's a huge part of why you guys are the size you are right now.
But I don't spend as much. So in our industry, it's pretty normal to spend 8 to 12% of your gross revenue on
Uh-huh.
marketing. I'm closer between 3 and 6%. So I
Okay.
do try and keep control of it.
Uh-huh.
It's pretty easy to lose control of it.
Yeah.
And then I also recently I went to a class, and this lady said that 17% of your revenue should be your commissions, because we pay 100% commission to salespeople. So that should be advertising and commissions. And I love hearing numbers like that, because then I can look at what I'm doing and see where I fall. And so I pay about 8 to 10% in commission. And if I put that with 7%, like I'm in a good spot. So I
Okay.
only try to do 1 or 2 major things at a time. Otherwise, I'll go broke. And I also think that shutting it down during the winter, I haven't always done it as hard as I did this year. And I think it's the smartest thing I've ever done. I have a hard time hurting people's feelings. And, like I hate telling people I'm not going to do business with, or we need to stop, but
Yeah, sure.
but it's super smart. And because there's no point in spending all this money when people aren't buying roofing right now.
Uh-huh. So basically 3 months out of the year or so, the phones just aren't ringing. Folks are not getting bids for roofing.
Yes. Yeah, there's
Okay.
some. I mean, and it's enough to keep the lights on, keep the doors open, keep everybody employed. It's not like I grew up in Iowa and it's hardcore. You can't roof in the winter, but
Uh-huh.
not really. And down here we can roof year round. It's just the demand isn't there. And I think this year too, the presidential election had a lot to do with that. People just didn't have confidence, and we needed somebody to win. I don't think it really mattered who won, just so that half the population can move forward with their lives and start spending.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, we've talked to a lot of folks that just kind of their operations really slowed down around the election just to see what happened, and so we're not going to spend any money right now. We're just going to take a break, and
especially such a big thing as a roof. And usually it's not. I mean, roofs are super important. Don't get me wrong, but it's not like an air conditioner where you have to have it today. Usually you can patch your way through for a little bit.
Interesting. Okay, great. So, guys, it's been a great conversation here. I mean, Amy has got a great business. Definitely take a look at the website Roofer Chicks. I mean, I'm a nerd about this stuff, but I'd love to see, and it's honestly it's rare to see websites of construction companies that are set up as well as yours is, and that it's just got all the right components in it. It's got the branding put together. It's got the whole story in there. So definitely something to go take a look at and learn more about what Amy's up to over in New Braunfels.
Thank you so much. That means a
Yeah,
lot,
Amy.
because I work pretty hard at it. So I'll take the
Yeah,
compliment.
I can see that. Amy, if folks want to get in touch with you and learn more about the business, or just personally get in touch and hear more about what you've talked about here today, what's the best way for them to get in touch?
For sure. I love talking to people from around the country about different things. You can, if you're on the website and you want to fill out the info form, they will get that information to me. Also, my email is just ami@rooferchicks.com. And yeah, I'll get back to whoever.
Perfect. Okay, great. Everybody go take a look at Amy's website. And if you get a chance, take a look at her social stuff and give her a big thumbs up and say hi over there as well. Amy, thank you for being on the show today. I think that's it for now.
Well, thanks for having me. Super fun.
Okay. All right. We'll be in touch. Take care.
Thanks, Mark.